Christina Hendricks wants you to question Cynthia Mann's in Good American Family. Nothing is quite as it seems. Natalia Grace has found a new family to care for her in the latest episode of Good American Family. In episode 6 titled, Not Today Satan, after Natalia, Imogen Faith Reed, is left alone in her own apartment by her adoptive parents Michael and Christine Barnett, she meets and receives help from a woman named Cynthia Mans. Portrayed by Christina Hendricks, Cynthia befriends a struggling Natalia, who has been having issues walking and taking care of herself. Yet Natalia questions her intentions. Cynthia is inspired by the real-life Cynthia Mans, who did meet the real Natalia Grace while she was living alone in Tippecanoe County, Indiana, according to a 2021 document from the Court of Appeals in Indiana, obtained by TODAWay.com. Grace, a Ukrainian orphan with dwarfism, had been adopted by the Barnetts in 2010, before they accused her of being a grown woman pretending to be an adult. The Barnetts had Grace tested and were able to legally change her birth certificate to show that she was born in 1989, the document from the Court of Appeals in Indiana stated. The couple then moved her into her own apartment, helping her get disability funding before they moved to Canada with their 3 biological children. However, the Court of Appeals document showed that Grace's Ukrainian adoption paperwork stated she was born in 2003. After meeting Cynthia Mans and her husband, Antoine Mans, Grace moved in with them, per the Indiana Court of Appeals document. You almost can't believe that this is based on true circumstances. Hendricks tells TODA.com. The script itself was already so amazingly written, and I thought they did a really great job. Where, halfway through you go, wait, I thought I knew what was going on, and bam, all of a sudden everything shifts. Hendricks explains that her character comes at a time when Natalia needs a place of comfort, protection, nurturing, and a safe space. Cynthia, who has also taken in other children in need, Hendricks says, creates a family and community for Natalia. There's also some moments where you start to question what Cynthia's intentions are, the actor says. But I think that's one of the things that I like about this show is you really have to pay attention to each character, because nothing is quite as it seems. Among the first moments where Natalia doesn't know if she can trust Cynthia is when the older woman offers to drive her home and invites her over for dinner after seeing her living conditions. She also helps her grocery shop, but once at the store, she suggests that Natalia pay for her family groceries using her food stamps. From Hendricks' perspective, Cynthia is a complicated and interesting individual. I would say that I went about this as a person who was trying to nurture her and trying to protect her, she says. I think that people are complicated, and I think even if you are trying to help someone, and if you are trying to extend that, there can be all sorts of situations in your life that it's not just going to be one pure thing. From this episode, one could say that through Natalia, Cynthia attempts to better her family's financial and living situation. In real life, according to a document from the Court of Appeals of Indiana, viewed by TODA.com, the Manses filed a court petition in 2016 to seek guardianship of Grace. They also testified against Michael Barnett during his 2022 trial, where he and his wife were accused of multiple charges, including neglect of a dependent. Michael Barnett was acquitted of his charges, while Christine Barnett's charges were dismissed. As Good American Family continues, viewers will see the role the Manses take on in Natalia's complicated life. Hendricks, on her end, tells TODA.com that the journey Cynthia takes is very different from any other she's portrayed on screen. I was excited to show that I could do something entirely different like this, Hendricks says. I liked this tenderness and this warmness of this woman who surrounds herself with children and has this sort of playful side to her. She helps people let their guard down, but is also tough and sticks up for her family, and has had to stick up for herself a lot in her life, she says. New episodes of Good American Family stream Wednesdays on Hulu, with a finale on April 30. At first glance, she's everything you'd expect from the picture-perfect matriarch in Good American Family. Prim, polished, and endlessly poised, like she just stepped out of a curated Pinterest board for suburban excellence. She wears pearls at breakfast and knows her neighbors' kids' birthdays by heart. But when Christina Hendricks steps into the role, she brings something far more nuanced, something unsettling beneath the manicured calm. I wanted to make you question her, Hendricks says, eyes alight with mischief in an interview chair that looks too modern for the cozy, vintage aesthetic of the show's set. With Cynthia, nothing is quite as it seems, and that's the fun of it. Set in the fictional town of Briar Glen, a place where lawns are always green, coffee is always fresh, and secrets are always buried deep. Good American Family is not your average domestic drama. It's not even your average thriller. It's a slow unraveling, a genteel descent into madness, where every polite smile hides something sharper than a knife. And Christina Cynthia is the epicenter of it all. From the very first episode, viewers are drawn to Cynthia's perfectly symmetrical world. Her home is a magazine spread come to life. Her 3 children speak in well-timed quips. Her husband, played by the ever-charming Marcus Wayland, is a city attorney who leaves love notes on the fridge. They are, in all appearances, the titular Good American Family. But then a new neighbor moves in. A nosy novelist with an eye for detail and a suspiciously familiar name, Leila Monroe. She's curious about the man's family. Too curious, and in classic Noir fashion, it's her digging that sets the wheels in motion. There's a scene in episode 3, Hendricks says, where Cynthia is folding laundry, and Leila drops a comment about the original owners of the house. It's a blink and you miss it moment, but Cynthia's entire face changes. That's the crack in the porcelain. That's when you start to wonder, who is Cynthia really? It's not just Hendricks' performance that keeps viewers guessing. It's the show's careful construction. The camera lingers a beat too long on family photos. A child's drawing is hastily tucked away. A half-burned journal page is found in the garden. Nothing feels accidental. Showrunner Elise Garland confirms the subtlety is intentional. We wanted to lull the audience into a sense of familiarity. Cynthia is the kind of woman people look up to. But when that admiration curdles into suspicion, when you start noticing what's not said, that's when it gets interesting. And oh, it gets interesting. By mid-season, the facade begins to crumble. The oldest son, Owen, starts having nightmares about a woman in the attic. Cynthia insists it's just stress. But viewers know better. There is an attic. And in one unforgettable scene, Leila finds an old photograph that doesn't belong to the family. In it, a woman stands in front of the house, with the same eyes as Cynthia, but 50 years older, or younger, or possibly not Cynthia at all. It's not just the house that's haunted. It's the identity. I don't want to say too much, Hendricks teases. But let's just say Cynthia might not be the first person to go by that name. And she might not be the last. There are theories, of course. The Reddit threads are ablaze. Some think Cynthia is part of a generational cult, the keeper of secrets passed down through domestic perfection. Others think she's a time traveler, forced to relive a picture-perfect life until she can alter a tragedy. A more grounded theory suggests she's a survivor of something traumatic, building a fantasy so perfect it can't be questioned, until it is. But Hendricks leans into the ambiguity. She's not a villain, or maybe she is. That's what I love about her. She's maternal and terrifying in the same breath. One moment she's kissing a scraped knee, The next, she's casually threatening a mailman with a smile. She's complex. She's terrifying because she's believable. And that believability is Hendricks' secret weapon. Known for her roles as Joan Holloway in Mad Men, and more recently in The Buccaneers, Hendricks has always brought layered complexity to her characters. But Cynthia Mann's may be her most subtly sinister role yet. A performance built on glances, pauses, and that syrupy voice that can say, "Bless your heart," and make it feel like a curse. As the show barrels toward its finale, the questions only multiply. Who was the woman in the photograph? Why does Cynthia keep a locked drawer in her bedroom marked "Remember"? What happened to the previous owners of the house? And most chilling of all, why do her children sometimes call her by a different name in their sleep? You're not going to get all the answers, Hendricks warns. At least, not this season. Some secrets are meant to simmer. Still, she promises a twist that will make audiences rethink everything they thought they knew.